Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're going to go deep into the history of something, well, you probably use every day, whether you're, super into health or not, calorie counting.
That's right.
We're going to uncover the backstory,
Yeah.
really going back to its surprising origins. So get ready for a journey that might just change how you view your next meal. I'm really excited about this one.
It is interesting how this concept feels so ingrained in our modern lives, but it's a relatively recent invention when you think about it.
Yeah, totally. And our deep dive starts with the woman who brought it into the spotlight, Dr. Lulu Hunt Peters, a physician. Way back in the early 1900s, she became like a weight loss sensation. Her book, Diet and Health with Key to the Calories, became a huge bestseller, made calorie counting a household term.
Yeah.
But her story is just the tip of the iceberg. But to really understand this whole phenomenon, we need to travel even further back in time. So were ancient civilizations tracking their calories? Did Roman emperors have, their own version of calorie counting apps?
Not quite. The term calorie first. It appeared in the 1820s, thanks to a French chemist named Nicolas Clement. Now, here's the interesting part. It wasn't even related to food initially.
Right.
Yeah. The calorie was a unit of heat, a way to measure energy, used in, industrial settings. Picture those massive steam engines powering the Industrial Revolution.
Right.
They were using the same units of energy that we now meticulously track in our food.
That's a connection I never would make.
That's right.
Okay, so how did this, industrial calorie make its way from powering machines to, fueling our bodies?
Well, that's where Wilbur O. Atwater comes in, an American chemist. In the late 1800s, he became, fascinated by this connection between physics and nutrition.
Okay.
Atwater studied in Germany, where he learned to use a device called a calorimeter. It's essentially a high-tech oven that measures the heat released when food is burned.
So he was literally setting food on fire.
Yeah.
To understand its energy content.
Exactly.
That's pretty wild.
It is.
What made his research so groundbreaking?
Well, you have to, understand the context of the time. Malnutrition was a serious concern.
Right.
And Atwater's work was crucial in helping people get the most energy. From limited food resources, he figured out how much energy your body could derive from different foods. It was really a game changer, especially for those who struggled to get enough to eat.
That makes total sense.
Yep.
And this was all happening during a time of major societal shifts, right? The early 1900s saw this surge in, food production, rapid urbanization, and increasingly sedentary lifestyles.
Precisely. And with these changes came another significant shift. Body image ideals. Plumpness, which was once a sign of, wealth and prosperity, was suddenly deemed undesirable.
Interesting.
And this shift was further fueled by the rise of ready-made clothing with, standardized sizes.
Yeah.
Suddenly, weight fluctuations became more noticeable.
Yeah.
And then there was the home scale, making it possible to track those fluctuations daily. So managing your weight became a very personal and visible concern.
Yeah.
Just back then, societal pressures played a huge role in how people viewed their bodies.
Right.
And that pressure still impacts us today.
It's incredible how something as seeming as simple as clothing sizes and home scales could have such a lasting cultural impact.
Yeah.
Around the same time, awareness of the link between, weight and health
Yeah.
was also starting to emerge, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Infectious diseases, once the leading causes of death, were becoming less prevalent thanks to, advancements in medicine and sanitation.
Right.
As a result, chronic illnesses, like heart disease, started to take center stage. And guess what researchers linked heart disease to?
Excess weight.
You got it. Excess weight.
Really? Wow. So we have all these factors converging, changing beauty standards, growing health concerns, a world becoming increasingly aware of weight's impact on health. It really sets the stage for Lulu Hunt Peters and her calorie counting revolution to take hold.
It's as if history was preparing the world for her arrival. And while Dr. Peters was gaining popularity, another fascinating event was unfolding that would further influence body image: World War I.
World War I. How did that play into all of this?
Well, the war effort created a shortage of metal. And you know what women were asked to sacrifice for the cause? Their metal corsets.
Wait, they gave up their corsets to help build warships. That's incredible.
It is. And this seemingly small detail had a big impact on how women viewed their bodies. Corsets had been, shaping and restricting women's bodies for centuries. Without it, well, let's just say natural curves became a lot more prominent.
Wow, so you have societal pressures, health concerns, even a world war, influencing how people perceive their bodies. It's remarkable how these historical events intertwine to create the perfect environment for Lulu Hunt Peters and her calorie counting revolution.
It was a pivotal moment
Mhm.
in our relationship with food and our bodies.
Mm.
Dr. Peters took this concept of the calorie, something most people had never even heard of, and made it accessible to everyone. She explained it simply, offered practical guidance, and even dedicated a section in her book to explaining how to pronounce calorie.
Wow.
It was a revolutionary approach to weight management at the time.
So Dr. Lulu Hunt Peters becomes this unlikely hero, turning complex science into something everyday people could understand and apply to their lives. But here's the question that's on everyone's mind. How do her methods, revolutionary for their time, hold up in today's world?
That's a question worth exploring. Stick with us as we shift our focus to the present day and examine the complexities of calorie counting in the modern world.
It's amazing how, over a century later, we're still grappling with this concept of calorie counting. You'd think with all the advancements in nutrition science, we would have moved on to a more sophisticated approach.
It's certainly a question that sparks debate. You see, while Dr. Peters' approach was groundbreaking, in its simplicity, our understanding of nutrition has become much more nuanced since then.
It does seem like we, as a society, have become fixated on numbers when it comes to health. We track our steps, we monitor our sleep, and we, meticulously count those calories. This focus on quantifying everything really giving us the full picture.
That's the crux of the matter. While some metrics can be helpful, concentrating solely on calories is like, reading only the first page of a novel. You grasp the basic premise, but miss the intricate details and the richness of the complete story.
So what crucial chapters are we missing when we get stuck on calorie counting?
For one thing, it often overlooks a fundamental aspect of nutrition, the quality of the food we're consuming. Take, for instance, a 100-calorie pack of processed cookies versus a 100-calorie serving of almonds. Both contain the same energy content, but their impact on our bodies is vastly different.
Right, that's a great point. It's like comparing a gallon of gasoline to a gallon of milk just because they occupy the same volume.
Yeah.
One fuels your car, the other nourishes your body. The numerical value might be the same.
Yeah.
But their functions are entirely distinct.
Precisely. And beyond, the nutritional value, calorie counting often fails to account for individual metabolic differences. Think about it. Two people can consume the same number of calories, yet experience completely different outcomes. Factors like, genetics, body composition, activity levels, and even the trillions of bacteria residing in our gut. The gut microbiome play a significant role in how we process and utilize energy.
Yeah, you mentioned macros earlier. For those unfamiliar, can you explain what they are and why they matter in this context?
Of course. Macros is short for macronutrients. The three main categories of nutrients our bodies need in larger amounts: carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Each macro plays a unique role in our body. And the ideal ratio can vary greatly depending on individual needs and goals. Calorie counting alone doesn't distinguish between these macros.
So the simple calories in, calories out equation isn't so straightforward after all.
Not quite. Our bodies are remarkably complex systems, and reducing our dietary needs to a mere number just doesn't do justice to that complexity.
But if calorie counting has these shortcomings, why does it persist? Why haven't we moved on to a more comprehensive system?
That's a question that has puzzled researchers and health professionals for years. I think part of it is that calorie counting offers an illusion of control in a world that often feels chaotic and unpredictable. It provides a concrete goal, a sense of accomplishment when you hit your target, and perhaps even a way to atone for perceived dietary indulgences.
It's like that satisfying feeling of closing all the rings on your fitness tracker, even if it means taking a few extra laps around the house to reach your step goal.
Exactly. It taps into our desire for immediate gratification and measurable progress. Plus, let's not forget the influence of the diet industry. They've built a multi-billion-dollar empire on this idea of restricting calories, turning food into a battlefield of good versus bad.
It's almost as if we've been conditioned to fear certain foods simply because of their calorie content, without considering their overall nutritional value or how they make us feel. Have you ever noticed how this this fear-based approach affects your own relationship with food?
It's a common struggle, and this constant focus on restriction can backfire, leading to unhealthy eating patterns, yo-yo dieting, and even an obsessive preoccupation with food that takes away from the pleasure of eating.
So if calorie counting isn't the answer, what's a better approach to nutrition and healthy weight management? Is there a way to escape this numbers game and embrace a more balanced perspective?
The key lies in shifting our focus from quantity to quality. Instead of obsessing over numbers, let's tune into the nutritional value of the foods we choose. Are we getting enough protein to support our muscles and energy levels? Are we incorporating fiber for digestive health? Are we consuming a variety of vitamins and minerals from colorful fruits and vegetables? And just as importantly, are we savoring our meals and feeling genuinely satisfied?
So it's about nourishing our bodies rather than punishing them. It's about listening to those internal cues of hunger and fullness and choosing foods that make us feel good, both physically and mentally.
Precisely. And it's about embracing the fact that our relationship with food is an ongoing journey, not a destination. There's no one-size-fits-all solution. And it's okay to experiment and find what truly works best for you.
This is incredibly insightful. It's like you're giving us permission to break free from the tyranny of calorie counting and rediscover the joy of eating.
It's about reclaiming that joy and recognizing that our bodies are inherently wise. They send us signals.
Yeah.
And it's up to us to learn how to listen and respond with compassion.
It's fascinating how we, explored the history of the calorie, this unit of energy that started in industrial settings and eventually landed on our plates.
Yeah.
It really makes you think about how our understanding of food has evolved over time.
It's a journey.
Yeah.
That highlights how cultural shifts, scientific discoveries, and societal pressures have shaped our relationship with what we eat.
Yeah.
And even though we now know that, calorie counting has its limitations, that simplistic approach still has a powerful hold on many of us.
It's like we've been programmed to believe that if we can just control those numbers, we can, control our bodies and achieve some ideal version of health. But what if that very focus on control is actually holding us back from experiencing true well-being?
That's a profound question. When we reduce our relationship with food to a mere equation, we miss out on so much. Think about the sensory pleasure of enjoying a delicious meal, the social connections forged over shared meals, the cultural traditions woven into the food we eat. These experiences are just as vital to our well-being as the nutrients themselves.
I feel like we've gotten so caught up in dissecting the nutritional components of food that we've forgotten to appreciate the art of eating and the joy it can, bring.
Yeah.
Have you ever caught yourself analyzing every bite, calculating every calorie, instead of just savoring the experience?
It's a trap many of us fall into, but imagine what would happen if, instead of approaching food with fear or judgment, we embraced curiosity and a sense of adventure. Yeah.
What if we allowed ourselves to explore new flavors, discover unique textures, and reconnect with the simple pleasure of nourishing our bodies?
It's like becoming a culinary explorer, rediscovering the world of food with a childlike sense of wonder.
Exactly.
Instead of obsessing over numbers, we could focus on how different foods make us feel. Energized, satisfied, sluggish, bloated. Our bodies are constantly sending us signals. We just need to learn how to interpret them.
Exactly. And it's crucial to remember that those signals will change over time. What worked for us yesterday might not work for us today. Our bodies are dynamic. Our needs are constantly evolving. And that's perfectly normal.
So it's not about finding the perfect diet or achieving some arbitrary ideal, but rather about cultivating a flexible and intuitive relationship with food that honors our individual needs and preferences.
Precisely. It's about letting go of the rigid rules and embracing a more compassionate and forgiving approach. Yeah. This entire conversation has been so enlightening. It feels like we're being given permission to step off the calorie counting treadmill and reclaim our inherent wisdom when it comes to food and our bodies.
And that's what I hope listeners take away from this deep dive, the understanding that true well-being isn't about restriction or punishment, but about nourishment and joy.
Yeah, it's about celebrating the unique and wonderful individuals we are in all our shapes and sizes.
And it's about recognizing that health encompasses so much more than just the numbers on a scale. It's about cultivating meaningful connections, engaging in activities that bring us joy, and living a life that feels rich and fulfilling.
Speaking of living a rich and fulfilling life, I have a final thought-provoking question for our listener. What if, instead of fixating on what we should or shouldn't eat, we shift our attention to the experiences we want to create in our lives? What if, instead of restricting ourselves, we empowered ourselves to live fully and joyfully, regardless of our size or shape?
That's a powerful proposition. Imagine a world where we focused on nurturing our passions, building strong relationships, pursuing adventures, and experiencing all the beauty life has to offer.
And imagine if instead of obsessing over calories,
Yeah.
we devoted that energy to
Yeah.
creating memories, pursuing our dreams, and making a positive impact on the world around us.
It's about recognizing that our bodies are vessels that allow us to experience life, not objects to be constantly scrutinized and controlled.
This has been such an incredible journey exploring the history of calorie counting and delving into the complexities of our modern-day relationship with food. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
Remember, it's not about achieving perfection. It's about embracing progress. Be kind to yourself, listen to your body, and savor the journey.
And above all, remember that you are worthy of nourishment, joy, and a vibrant, fulfilling life. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.